guys all ready? Yeah. Okay, okay, we're going to call tonight's meeting to order. If able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Pape,
Here?
Councilmember Shavetta,
Here.
Councilmember Kozmeyer,
Here.
Councilmember Hands,
Here.
Councilmember Caldwell,
Here.
Councilmember Leahy,
Here.
Councilmember Ryder,
Here.
Councilmember Silvers,
Here.
Councilmember Yadrich.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, next item up is public items. Members of the public are encouraged to use this time to make comments about matters directly related to city programs and services. Comments related to a matter or topic on the city council agenda that is the subject of a public hearing should be provided during the scheduled public hearing and not during the public comments period. Please note individuals making public comments be limited to 3 minutes. The city reserves the right to refuse public comments which are inconsistent with the parameters established within the governing body rules of procedure. We did have a blue sheet here, which no one has signed up. Does not preclude anyone from coming forward to give public comments if they do. Looks like we have a gentleman coming forward. Name and address for the record, sir.
Billy Crone, 6633 Wed Street. I'd like to thank my favorite councilwoman, Stacy, for her advice to report 2 recent open meetings violations that occurred at the Visitors Center on the 19th of February. Open government is a cornerstone of freedom and democracy and our republic. So I'm going to share with you from the actual statutes. Open meetings declared policy of the state, citation of act. In recognition of the fact that a representative government is dependent upon an informed electorate, it is declared to be the policy of this state that meetings for the conduct of governmental affairs and the transaction of government business be open to the public. It is declared hereby to be against the public policy of this state for any such meeting to be adjourned to another time or place in order to subvert the policy of open meetings as pronounced in subsection A. That has stood for decades. And yet, today, under the leadership of Bob Pape, in just a few minutes, you all will adjourn and go upstairs away from the city's cameras. Often there's not even minutes taken of those meetings, but you have a perfectly usable forum down here to use to be open and accessible to the public, and you choose not to in violation of state policy, Bob Pape. What else? This isn't new, of course. Under your leadership, the city was found to have violated the Kansas Open Meetings Act by our secretary, or by our Attorney General of the state of Kansas for an incident last year. I think it was April 25th, right? When there was seating available for the public, plenty of unused seating, and yet public were denied presence at an open meeting. So that's not good. But thank you, Stacy, for your reminder. I filed it like you asked. Have a nice one.
Is there anyone else that would like to report at this time? Okay, we will close out the public comment section then of this meeting. Next item up is consent agenda. All items listed under this heading are considered to be routine by the City Council, may be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. We have several items this evening. Is there anyone that would like to have anything removed from the consent agenda? Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Lane.
I don't, but I do want to thank you for the pictures. We all sometimes are simple people, and the pictures for the front loader was nice.
No one wants anything removed? Okay, well, I would entertain a motion for, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Ross? Oh, I don't know. Right. Any questions for Ross?
Because he provided the picture.
I
Go ahead,
don't have a
Commissioner.
question, but I was going to say thank you for the picture too. I got really excited because you know us and you know we love pictures, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks for being here.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Okay, so if I see nobody else having any comments, okay, I would entertain a motion. Go ahead, Ms. Hands.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the council approve consent agenda items 1 through 4.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Go ahead, Ms. Shveta.
Mr. Mayor, second.
Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Shavetta,
Aye.
Councilmember Kosemeyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Hands,
Aye.
Councilmember Caldwell,
Aye.
Councilmember Leahy,
Aye.
Councilmember Ryder,
Aye.
Councilmember Silvers.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item up this evening is the mayor's report. I always like to talk about a little bit about things that have happened in the last 2 weeks. I'm not sure if I've missed anything from council. I've got to reach out to them, but let me read through what I do know. I and a council member attended the Lunch and Learn with the city staff where we learned about how to do CPR from our police department. Thank you for sharing that life-saving technique. I and several council and numerous staff attended the retirement celebration for Assistant Park and Rec Director Dave Smothers, or Smo as he's known as. Smo dedicated 23 years to our city and helped our Park and Rec department to grow into what it is today. Smo always had a smile on his face and will be missed. We wish him well as he moves on to the next chapter in his life. I attended the Johnson County and Wyandotte County Mayor's meeting. It was hosted by Leawood Mayor Mark Elkins. We received a presentation on the 2026 FIFA World Cup updates. It appears that KC is further along than many other cities. And it's exciting to see that we are hosting some of the best in the countries. We will have a park and ride location located right here at Merriam Town Center. I had an exit interview with Smo, who was very happy to have served our community and worked with Director Slocum and staff. He passed along some future goals we might want to consider as we continue to expand our programs. I and Mr. Engel and Ms. Guard attended the annual police department breakfast. Discussion of successes during the past year ensued, as well as new programs that are being instituted. It's always great to meet our officers and show what appreciation to those who risk their lives daily to help us. And thank you, Chief McLaughlin, for allowing us that opportunity to be there. I attended a Johnson County leadership meeting of our elected officials at city and county level. The meeting was hosted by Chairman Mike Kelly. There was a presentation, again, by KC FIFA 2026. Seems to be the popular topic anymore at all the meetings. And where we stand in the region on transportation, security activities, and other things that are going on. Each city got to speak on what each city was doing individually and planning for the event. This is the biggest event that KC Metro Region's ever hosted. And it appears that we're all coming together, less than 3 months away, for those that don't know that. I attended KC Metro Mayor's Prayer Breakfast that was hosted by Mayor Lucas at Bartle Hall. There were about 30 mayors in attendance from both the Kansas and Missouri side. The guest speaker was former Chiefs and NFL player Martin Rucker II and his wife, Joni Rucker. It was very inspirational, and he and his wife shared how God had worked throughout their lives. This event has been going on for 65 years, and it's the longest single event in the metro area. It was started by Mayor Bartle as a means for leaders to get together on both sides of the state and pray for our communities. Kudos go out to Shawnee Mission North High School, who provided our color guard activities at that event over down in Kansas City, Missouri. I hosted the Northeast Mayor's Luncheon at the Visitor Center. Economic and Tourism Manager Karen Crane gave us a presentation on current happenings in the history of Merriam. The other mayors were really impressed. Pass that on to Karen. Thanks go out to her and the City Clerk Julie Pennick for arranging and providing the food from 30 Hop. We always share at this meeting what's happening in each city and what is happening in the capital that affects us all. Councilwoman and I met with Mr. Engel to prepare tonight's agenda. I attended the presentation of Leslie Wagner Wilson at the Shawnee Church of the Nazarene. Unfortunately, she became ill at the event, and we had to continue without her as she was transported to the hospital. Our prayers go out to her for a speedy recovery. As you might recall, Johnson County and NAACP President Katrina Robertson invited us to attend that event at our last council meeting. Ms. Wagner Wilson was a survivor of the Jonestown Massacre in Guyana at the hands of cult leader Jim Jones. She was 13 at the time and lost many of her family. She wrote a book on her experience called Slavery of Faith. It's important for each of us to remember our past so we can prevent wrongdoings from occurring in the future. I was invited to speak at this event as they were looking for speakers. And I got to share the accomplishments of Councilmember Julius McFarland and Mayor Cora Wilkes and their importance to Merriam's history. Unfortunately, I hate to say this, but as I sat down, I realized I had not spoke about the Webb family in the case of versus the Webb family versus School District number 90, which precipitated the Brown versus Topeka and the desegregation cases that occurred, obviously, led to desegregation all over the United States. Missed my opportunity to pass that along. That's all I had. Does any council members have anything else that they attended? Okay, please, Ms. Shredder.
Councilmember Silvers and I were at the public art meeting.
The public art meeting.
Yeah, so
And
we
I forgot that one. I
discussed,
apologize.
we're discussing a new RFQ for a new piece to come hopefully later this year.
Coming this year? Okay, good. Thank you for representing us at that. Anything else? Yeah. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, well, that's the end I have for the mayor's report. Next item up is consider approval of the purchase of some real property. It looks like we got Mr. Engel coming to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Next two items are both property acquisition items, so I will just be with you for the next two items, even though we'll break them up into two. First item is consider approval of a purchase of real property located at 5040 Merriam Drive. This residential property is located at the corner, the northwest corner of Merriam Drive and 51st Street. It's a home, a residential home that was constructed in 1929, currently owned by Terry and Linda Spruik. On several occasions over the last couple of years, they've reached out to Councilmember Silvers, the city clerk, myself, offering the opportunity, if the city wanted to seize upon it, to purchase that property. As you will recall, we purchased in January of this year 5030 Merriam Drive, just to the north. They were in attendance at that meeting and reached out to us on the following day, the Tuesday, to ask if we were interested. As you will recall, then we had a quick conversation about the value of owning property adjacent to other property that we already own. And at that point, we entered into negotiations with the owners and agreed to a purchase price that mirrors the Johnson County appraisal, which is $223,300. We also offered them $5,000 moving expenses at their request, but we agreed to those terms. Again, that is the Johnson County appraiser value. We would close on this property May 15th if the council approves the contract, and the structures would be removed shortly thereafter. We would try to remove them and the 5030 structures at the same time, just in terms of the economics of it. Staff's asking for a not-to-exceed amount of $232,000. That'll cover the cost of the $5,000, the purchase cost, and the cost of closing, according to Mr. Orick, who is our real estate attorney. Happy to answer any questions you may have about that. Actually, I'll go through the presentation. Sorry, I forgot I had one here. Here's the pictures of 5040. This is looking to the northwest. You can see the detached garage to the left. You can see the home is to the right. It is light blue. There is a version from the curb up in the upper right-hand corner. In the left, you can see just an aerial view of what's the general area. All of the purple X's are properties that the city already owns. The subject property is the one in red. Again, here are the terms of the deal that I just covered. Happy to answer any questions as the next slide addresses.
Any questions for Mr. Eagle?
Thank you, Julie.
I see no questions concerning that. I believe we do have a motion that would be made concerning that property. Go ahead, Mr. Silvers.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move that the council approve the purchase of real property located at 5040 Merriam Drive in the amount not to exceed $232,000.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Mr. Leahy.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Kosmeyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Hands.
Aye.
Councilmember Caldwell.
Aye.
Councilmember Leahy.
Aye.
Councilmember Ryder.
Aye.
Councilmember Silvers. Councilmember Shavetta.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Go ahead, Mr. Eagle.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Next item on your agenda is consider approval of a contract to purchase the KC Strings properties and provide for the potential relocation of the business to another location in Merriam. I'll try to do it both of these at the same time. As you can see, your subject properties are up there. There's 4 properties, 5826, 5830, 5842, and 5844, all located on Merriam Drive in historic downtown Merriam, commonly referred to as KC Strings. They are currently owned by Anton Kreutz. They are located downtown, immediately adjacent to Turkey Creek, and well within the sphere of influence of any potential flood mitigation scenarios that we would be working on, including the Upper Turkey Creek flood mitigation project. If you will remember, several years ago, in anticipation of the Upper Turkey Creek project, we had some conversations about kind of heading off or at least extending the conversations with some of our businesses by seeking appraisals early, recognizing that there were going to be some properties that clearly, well, Relocation is tough on any and all businesses. There were some that just by the nature of those businesses, we thought were going to be a little bit difficult. We might need to extend the timeline to work with them. We had the Bliss Appraisal did the appraisal for KC Strings at the same time as they did Todd Baker. Again, Baker Marble, lots of heavy-duty machinery and equipment in there. ETI next to them had the servers, so we sought to get an appraisal at that point in time so we would have some time to have these conversations and see if we couldn't find some sort of workable solution in that particular area of town. So we had the appraisals in late '23, which it seems like that's such a long time ago, but we started having conversations in '24, but significant progress on those conversations didn't start until 2025. By that point in time, I think we viewed it as, at least I say, like the moons really started to align. At that point in time, the council had expressed a desire and a willingness that for certain businesses, not all businesses, certain businesses within Merriam, relocation was something that we should try to pursue if it was possible, if we could find a location for them. Comes to mind, Rigdon was one of those, Possibilities is another one, and at the same time, available properties that may not have been available in 2023 started to come available to where these conversations, at least with this particular property owner, really started to say these things were possible. Again, it's one thing to have a desire to leave and relocate. It's another thing to not have anywhere to go within the community. So those things started to align in 2025, and at that point in time, we really kind of dug in and had some really meaningful conversations with ownership of KC Strings, Anton, his representative Rob Richardson, as well as Mr. Orick, and some staff members, just to kind of see what are the possibilities that we might be able to create a business like KC Strings within our community, which I think was important to all of us. During those discussions, we were able to come to an agreement on terms for the purchase price, as well as in order to maintain the ability for us to seek federal reimbursement when if and when the core project were to proceed. There are certain relocation and reestablishment costs that need to be included in that. I've broke those down. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to so you can see the subject properties here. Got to set ahead of myself again. Go back to that one, we'll address that. So you can kind of see where we've got the 4 properties. All 4 of those properties are known as KC Strings. They are well within the floodplain, well within the sphere of influence of whatever mitigation project that we do. So that was one of the driving features that drove us to start to have conversations with those folks. Next one, please. So what we have here is what we call the business deal. The business deal is a not to exceed amount of $3 million. As we said, we knew that it was going to be difficult, so there are some estimates that we had to build into this amount because we just aren't going to know, and I'll address each one of those as we go through it. So the purchase price we agreed to was $950,000, plus closing. What $950,000 gets you is the buildings. There's no warranties, it comes as is, but that is the 4 properties, 5826, 5830, 42, and 44. All 4 of those properties we will be acquiring for $950,000 plus closing. However, because we want to maintain the ability to seek reimbursement from the Corps, from the federal government, we're following the Federal Uniform Act. We did the same thing with Baker. We did the same thing with ETI, did the same thing with Rigdon, which is there's a search for new location expense of $5,000. That's a maximum amount. $33,200 is what business reestablishment federal maximum is. Again, that is the maximum amount that can be paid. We anticipate it's going to cost every bit of that because some of that work has already been done. So we are just jumping right to the maximum amount of that in terms of our offer. This is where it starts to get a little, we're estimating. We have to get some bids. We have to actually have the work be done. The moving, we are estimating it's going to be between $400,000 and $600,000. It could be as high as $700,000. We're talking about millions of dollars of inventory that we're not just throwing cinder blocks in the back of a truck. These are violins and stringed instruments that have to be taken care of at a certain level of insurability and making sure they get from point A to point B. But by the Federal Uniform Act, that is not capped. That is at actual cost. So if it cost $1, it's $1. If it cost $1 million, it's $1 million. So that is what the purchase price and the relocation by the Uniform Act gets us. because it was important to not only the business owner, but to the city council, that we try, if we can, to incentivize KC Strings to stay in our community. The next subject there is what that incentive is. The two pieces of that incentive are IRBs, industrial revenue bonds, which we are all familiar with, that if the owner is to relocate in Merriam, the city would issue IRBs for sales tax exemption. We've done that. We just did that, I think, 2 meetings ago. Again, it's just a sales tax exemption, even though it's called industrial revenue bonds, it's essentially a sales tax exemption certificate that we would issue. However, what goes along with that is certain civic obligations. So when we do incentives, we ask for civic obligations of the folks back to the city. So we would require that, again, if we are to award the IRBs, that the business would be a member of the chamber, would be a member of the Downtown Merriam Partnership, would be a sponsor of one of our 2 major events, Merriam Drive Live, Turkey Creek Festival, and to make a donation to the Community Center Foundation to help folks in need access the ability to access the services we provide at the community center. So that's baked into the IRBs. In addition to that, the city is pledging, again, this is an estimate, but somewhere between $1.4 and $1.6 million towards the verifiable cost for the move. That number is going to slide with the moving cost, which is where we come up with the not to exceed $3 million amount. So the higher that the moving is, the lower that the contribution would be to the verifiable cost of relocation. So those things move together in tandem with the not to exceed amount of $3 million. In addition, the city agrees to allow KC Strings to operate rent-free for 12 months within their current footprint. That allows them plenty of time to either wind down their operations, should they choose to do so, to reestablish their business somewhere else, we hope in Merriam. Again, we're incentivizing, but we can't make them do that. And at the conclusion of that, it gives them the opportunity to salvage whatever it is out of that facility that they want. We know that they have an iconic storefront. They'll want to likely, if they relocate, and if they relocate in Merriam, we would want them to use that iconic storefront as best that they can. So they will have the ability to salvage all the materials out of there. That being said, that is the business deal for the acquisition of KC Strings. I want to thank Mr. Orick, Rob Richardson, Anton, who I don't think is here, but for having good debate about how we can best find a win-win situation for one of our businesses in downtown. That being said, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Engel? Okay.
I have more
Go
of
ahead,
a
Mr.
point of clarification. Can we go back the slide? The reestablishment benefits are only payable if you reestablish in Merriam,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Other than the $33,200, we are
Correct.
required to pay the $33,200
Right.
wherever they
Right,
reestablish.
but the IRBs and the rest of it is only if they are within Merriam.
That's the incentive to stay in Merriam.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Ms. Hanson.
And because we're buying the property as is, if they choose to stay for 12 months, they are responsible for any maintenance stuff that has to happen to those buildings.
They are, and we've been very clear about it. Well, we've talked specifically about the doors. You should take those off on the
Right.
last day, not the first day, because we're
Exactly.
not going to replace them. So yes, so at the conclusion of it, we will be done with the building. We will board up whatever's left. That's what's left.
But if all of a sudden the roof collapses while they're in there in that 12-month period, that's not on us.
Well, it's our building. We will have to insure the building, so we will insure the building because we own it. So it would be a claim against our insurance. But in terms of if they want to change
Can
something
improve
inside,
it.
or they want to improve it, taxes, things like that, those are the responsibility of them.
Okay.
But yeah, if there's something catastrophic with the structure, that would be on us because it's our building.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Silvers.
Just to clarify for people watching here and maybe on YouTube later, you had mentioned the doors. And the reason you brought that up is Anton had shown interest in those doors and wanted to maybe move them to his new location.
Yeah, we've talked on several occasions about that, about if and when he's able to move somewhere else in the community, that those doors are identified with KC Strings and that they're kind of iconic for that location. So yes, that would be our intent and his intent.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay, other questions for Mr. Engel? That way, see him? This way? Okay, I see no additional questions for Mr. Engel. I think we have a motion that could come forward, if so be it, if somebody would like to do that. Anybody over here? Go ahead, Ms. Ryder.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the council approve a real estate contract with the Casey Strings Inc. for purchase of 5826, 5830, 5842, and 5844 Merriam Drive, and the potential relocation of Casey Strings business elsewhere within the city of Merriam in the amount not to exceed $3 million plus closing costs.
Okay, I think we have a motion. Do I have a second? Go ahead, Ms. Shveta.
Mr. Mayor, second.
Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Hands.
Aye.
Councilmember Caldwell.
Aye.
Councilmember Leahy.
Aye.
Councilmember Ryder.
Aye.
Councilmember Silvers.
Aye.
Councilmember Shavetta.
Aye.
Councilmember Kozmeyer.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, it looks like next item up is, we're already down to staff informational items. January financial update. Okay, we have Director Borth coming forward.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So for January 2026, everything is looking as would be expected. A reminder that sales tax is 2 months behind, so you'll see zeros for that, a little daunting, but you will see January's receipts in March's report. So just give it about a month and a half to catch up, and then we'll see those numbers. We received our first tranche, I know we like that word, of property tax, which is also reflected. We will only get 2 of those throughout the year, typically. That is all I have for the report, but I did want to give you just a brief update on transient guest tax. So per the questions that council asked, I started looking into the hotels that pay into transient guest tax, did an audit of the first hotel on the list. I don't have anything final for you, but I can tell you that the audit that I completed came up with pretty substantial findings. This hotel, the first one that we looked into, my estimate is that we have about $250,000 to $300,000 owed in transient guest tax. So at this time, we turned that over to the state. I did make the hotel aware, and we have now allowed the state to begin their audit process. They'll work with us on that. They'll work with the hotel. We will get at some point a final report from them. I have also asked for something in writing to show that they're either working towards something repayment-wise, or if they are just going to maintain a poor standing with the state, for a letter detailing that, so I can give that to you. At this time, the property is a few years behind on property tax. So I also reached out to the county and got a letter from them showing that they are in bad standing with the county. So based on those 2 things, we're waiting to hear back from the city attorney and come to you with a few options of what the next steps would be. But at this time, I don't have anything to report on transient guest tax, just that the first hotel in the audit came with substantial findings. So once I have a concrete number from the state, I will pass that along to you guys. But yes, sir.
Are you planning on looking at the other hotels as well?
Yes. We are starting our audit and budget, so my plan is to start the next one here in a few months once I have time to contribute to it. So, but they were very open to the process, the first hotel, so I think the rest should move just as fast. Give me a month or 2 for each.
Other questions for Director Borth? Okay. I
Thank
see
you.
none. Thank you. Okay. Next one is informational item, Public Art Committee. The minutes were in our packets. Everybody okay with that? We do have Director Slocum here if we need her up there, but we're good? All right. Mr. Engel, we have anything from staff?
We don't have a solid waste update listed, but I will share that over 1,000 residents have made the transition before the November deadline this coming November. So 1,000 of 3,500. So that's pretty good. So I wanted to share that as a solid waste update. And then just share that this Saturday is our Polar Plunge at Shawnee Mission Park benefiting Special Olympics. Always a great event that for a great cause. We've got, I think, 6 teams. It won't be as cold as it was today, but it'll still be pretty cold. But that's always a great event, sponsoring Special Olympics. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Engel? Okay, I see no questions for you, sir. We have no executive session, to my knowledge. Okay. Wow, this has moved pretty quick. My understanding is we are going to have a work session following this.
Yes, sir.
So, and that will be upstairs. Okay, sure. So anybody that wants to attend that, it will be upstairs. I would entertain a motion for adjournment then. Who wants to do that? Go
Mr.
ahead, Ms.
Mayor,
Hands.
I move we adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Ms. Shredder.
Mr. Mayor, second.
Madam Clerk, we have a motion, a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.